Hey guys, welcome back. A2D, agree to disagree. It's playoff time in fantasy football. We're finally here. It's week 15, almost a year anniversary, dude. We started week 17 last year, or
Yes,
week 18 in
sir.
the playoffs, and then so we're coming up on 1 year. So thanks for everyone for following us in with our journey here. Hopefully you guys are in a deep playoff run, like my boy Michael here. Like I said, it's week 15 though, man. Let's get it cracking.
Hell yeah, man. It's been a year, about 115 podcasts deep. We have 50 followers. We're still trying to grow. We're still trying to learn about ourselves. We appreciate everybody for staying on with us. And continuing to support us. We appreciate you guys. We're not giving up on our dreams. We're gonna keep kicking through on this. This has been
Yeah,
year
we do this
one.
for fun, man. I mean, we do this for
Yeah,
fun. At the end of the day, if they can follow or not. You guys want to keep losing, that's on you guys. Either way, we
yeah.
like talking sports. That's why we do this. We do this, because we love it, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah, and fantasy something that we both kind of grow up on. So yeah, we love this, guys, and we appreciate you guys following. We appreciate you guys keep listening. That's what it's about. But yeah, man, playoff time, and this is my favorite part of the year. Just football, just NFL football in December altogether. So we got a lot of stuff to kind of break down this week. There's a lot of major injuries. We can just start off right off the bat. There's a lot of major injuries, a lot of guys that are banged up. And are they going to play? Are they not going to play? And that's going to play a huge role in week 15, especially first round of the playoffs for 12-man leagues. So I know a couple right off the bat. You kind of mentioned, you're a T Higgins owner. He's a lot of guys like wide receiver two or maybe even wide receiver one.
He's
Uh,
yeah, he's wide receiver 16, and
yeah,
he's missed like 3 weeks. He this is the second time where he's been activated, cleared, and then doesn't play. It's like,
doesn't
dude,
play. Plays one play and then
I
you
don't
don't hear anything
understand
about
it.
it.
Like, I don't.
Yeah,
It's crazy. Like, they got to do something to Zach Taylor, and you can't. I know it's just fantasy, and they don't give a damn about fantasy. But still, like, isn't that illegal to say that a guy's gonna play and then he doesn't play at
so
all?
it's
And like they said that they knew going in he was gonna be on a snap count, but then you're gonna remove him altogether. Like, put questionable, put limited, put
yeah.
something to indicate that he is dealing with something. But to say he's full and remove him entirely off the report, because I had a plan B in case. Honestly, my it was James Cook, yeah, as a flex potentially, and that didn't work
Yeah,
out. He had like
yeah.
3 points, so I was fucked either way last week. But still, like, there could have been other people out there with better options and better plan Bs that you could have went with and could have maybe advanced and survived, dude. Some people probably got eliminated because of that. And yeah, it's just fantasy, but some people put a lot of money on it, man. And who's paying these guys? Who pays for Sunday ticket? Who pays for tickets to go to the games and everything? It's fantasy owners. It's guys that it's us fans. So I mean, it's like we deserve a little something, man. Just be honest with us. We're not mad that he's hurt. I'm mad that you guys lied to us.
Yeah, I know there's like there's a reason why they have the questionable and the out tags. Like there's a reason why there's an injury report. Um, what I heard was he's a full
He
participant on
was.
Friday, and then he has a setback in
I heard
pregame.
pregame warmups. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I hear that today. What's today? Wednesday. I'm
yeah.
all of a sudden I'm hearing that there was no news of that up until like pregame, dude. I'm up in the morning. I'm checking my lineups. I'm on top of shit, dude. Like, if they would have give any indication that he wasn't going to play, then we could have had time to adjust, man. Like, when in pregame did it happen? Did it happen right before the fucking game? Like, literally right when they're doing the coin flip on the sideline, or what? Like, I don't get how. Uh, I don't know, man. It pissed me off, obviously.
Yeah, yeah, and it's the second time this year it's happened with the same player. So not to say that hey something weird's going on, but coincidence that's a very big coincidence. The second time this year it's happened to the same player and a same organization. So yeah, I don't know if I'll throw out like fines and all that kind of stuff, but it needs to be addressed. I mean, when we talked about like Tua, with his whole concussion thing earlier on in the year, there was an investigation done, and they found out, okay, hey, like this and this and this and this. So yeah, there definitely needs to be an investigation, and they find out, hey, they're trying to, uh, like the sports books, like they're trying to manipulate the sports
Get an
books, try to
advantage, because I
manipulate
mean
fantasy.
you're
Yeah,
game planning for a T Higgins. I know they don't fantasy doesn't matter to them. They're not thinking about fantasy, but that's why Bill Belichick is so, doesn't say anything.
manipulating
during his press
matchups.
conferences. But yeah, and you try to take advantage and make them think that you have something, and all of a sudden it's this random guy coming out of nowhere that you didn't even game plan for,
Like
and
it's
they kind of had
server.
that with that. Yeah, exactly. So it changes things up. You game plan for T Higgins, all of a sudden you got somebody else that you didn't even game plan for, and that's kind of probably what they were doing, trying to get an advantage. But it's
Mhm.
it's like, dude, just be honest with us, man.
Yeah,
But I mean, that's one injury. That's one thing that's going on. Higgins, and do you risk playing him this week if he did you dirty and you still happen to survive? I heard he's day to day, man. They're obviously not revealing anything about that. They don't know how serious. Like one report, like I said, they coming out Wednesday. That all of a sudden it's a tweak in pregame warmups, but then on Sunday they said that the plan all along was to be on a snap count or to be an emergency based kind of guy. So it's like,
yeah.
what story is it, man? And now he's day to day. Like they're not obviously not saying a goddamn thing. So is it like, dude? For me, it's if you have a plan B, you better have got one because he might not play. And they got Jamar Chase. They're playing against the Bucks that are struggling. So maybe they sit him out.
Well, I mean that, and another injury in that same receiving core is Tyler Boyd.
Boyd.
It doesn't seem like he's going to play this week, and I know they're fighting for division. So how much do you want to ramp up? I mean, there's just a lot of decisions to be made there now. Like a hamstring isn't an easy injury to come back from. I mean, you've
Right.
seen guys like Debo Samuel who just continuously has to deal with a hamstring. Look at Keenan Allen this year, missed like 8 weeks because of a
Yeah.
hamstring. Um, it's not an easy injury to manage. They can get pulled, re-injured very easily. And they're a team that wants to, they have Super Bowl aspirations. I mean, Cincinnati is one of the best teams in the AFC, and this is a game against,
Yeah. If I had to pick right now, I think they would come out the AFC. Sorry to
yeah,
cut you
and
off, but
and they're
yeah, just to reiterate that, yeah, they're
and
good.
they're in a battle for. I mean, I know Lamar's out in Baltimore, but they're in a battle for that AFC North title. So this is kind of a must-win game for them. So they're in a really tough spot. Fantasy owners are, like you said, like we're down to kickoff, like trying to figure out if this guy's going to play. As a fantasy owner, I don't want to play him this week. I mean, those hamstring injuries. I mean, yeah, he could come out with one catch and then he's out for the game because he re-aggravates. The risk is just so high right now. But then the other side of it, then you don't play him and he has one of his 30-point outbursts. Like it's
He's got
a
Jamar.
situation.
Yeah, I think that they're going to be cautious. You just made a very good point. Like, dude, they got Super Bowl aspirations. They're not trying to beat the Bucks this week. They're trying to win a Super Bowl that they lost in last year. So they want to be all hands on deck at that time. And Keenan Allen, that's a great point because all of a sudden for him to go on IR or something now, that's tough. Now all of a
Yeah.
sudden your Super Bowl chances go down a little bit because he's T Higgins, man. Like I said, he's wide receiver 16 right now, and that's with missing 3 weeks. So
Mhm.
if he plays all 3 of those weeks and he actually gets all his typical volume, he's a wide receiver one more than
Yeah.
likely. So yeah, he's a good dude. He's talented. So but yeah, that's one injury you just mentioned. Debo Samuel, it's another injury. These are some receivers, man, that are going down. Debo's is clearly out. It looked bad at first. He was emotional coming off the field, but it was actually good news if you're a Niner fan. Just an high ankle sprain, so 3 or 4 weeks. We'll be back for playoffs. But wide receivers, man, slim pickings out there on the waiver wire right now. But I mean, you won a league last year working these waivers in these similar situations. So, any wide receivers out there that you feel good about?
Yes, sir. Actually, and I forgot to do it, and you just reminded me right now to go do it. So before I mention this guy's name, let me make an ad really quick. Um, his name is Jawan Jennings, and he plays for those San Francisco 49ers. Okay. So with the games that Debo has been out of the lineup and it's been him stepping in, it's been the Jawan Jennings show. So I think he had a 17.5 outburst earlier last year against the Rams. I think Debo missed that week 18 game and he had like 9 for 96 and a touchdown. I think that for the next couple of weeks, Jawan Jennings can be pretty reliable, especially as a flex guy. I'm not going to say he's going to step into Debo's shoes and fill that 15 to 20 point void that you're going to be losing, but he very well could, and he has the potential to do it. But that's one guy on the waiver wire right now that you're going to step in directly for injury. I I was gonna do it this morning because it's Wednesday, it's waiver day, and I completely forgot to do it. But yeah, I think Jawan Jennings can step in for Debo, and he can actually have, he can step into that offense. They still have a lot of mouths to feed with Ayuk and McCaffrey and Kittle there,
But
but
to your point, extra attention now on Kittle and McCaffrey and Ayuk even is going to get top corner coverage. So
I think you could be
Jennings,
I think you could be happy with about 6 to 7 targets out of Jennings. And if he converts 4 or 5 of those, I mean, that's worthy of a flex. If he turns it into a touchdown, I mean, you're talking in wide receiver 3 numbers. So going into I mean, if you have Debo Samuel, you definitely should have already made that ad. Because he's probably out, he's definitely out for fantasy championships and stuff like that. He's probably out for the rest of the regular season.
right?
I was talking to your brother Danny, and he's obviously a Niner fan, and when we watched that injury, and I was just like, "Fuck, man," because we talked about on the top of the show, December is the best time for football, and seeing these great players go down, yes, for fantasy, but we thought he was done for a while, let alone,
Yeah, it didn't look good.
yeah. I first thing I said is that ACL that didn't look good.
Just the way he got, like he looked like he was giving some news because he was so emotional. It's like
Yeah,
unless you can
yeah.
feel something, and unless it hurt that bad, but I mean, now it's just a sprain. It's like, dude, I don't know. Either way, but yeah, thankfully it wasn't an ACL, man.
Yeah, for as big of a dog as Debo is, man, he tried to get up, he tried to walk off the field, and then he needs some help. And he got it carted off. Like, I don't want to sit here and say like, you know, come on, man, it's only a high ankle sprain because those things hurt. But yeah, we all expected a lot more than that. And the good news is it is only a high ankle sprain. I mean, those things suck, but it could have been like ligament damage, and then he could have been out for, like, look at OBJ, out for the entire year. So that's the good news. Bad news for fantasy owners is he's done probably for your fantasy season, and you have to adjust. So that's the way that I would adjust, because when he's out of the lineup, Juwan Jennings seems to get a little bit more run. And
There's an option, yeah. I mean, he's an
yeah,
option. I got another potential option. I've said this guy's name a million times. Alec Pierce. He's going
this
against your
week for
Vikings.
sure.
Hey, he's going against your Vikings this
Yeah,
week, and man, the Vikings have given up a lot of yards and a lot of points these last I think 5 weeks now. They've given
it's
up
it's been
yeah
historically bad. It's been
yeah I think it's
historically
like
bad.
400 yards
Yeah,
plus in like 5 weeks in a row, something like that. Either way, they've been giving up a lot of points, and not to mention their offense is pretty good too. So Colts are going to have to throw the ball, and this is a secondary and a defense that they've been proving you can move the ball against. He's a downfield guy. He's coming off of an 8-target game with a touchdown, and
Mhm.
I mean, he had like 18 fantasy points. So 8 targets. Matt Ryan has been back, and they're coming off a bye. I could see if you got Pittman and Pierce, even Paris Campbell. These are guys that you kind of want to get in your lineup and feel pretty good about this week. Alec
Paris
Pierce
Cam-
is a guy that I think he's gonna do good.
yeah, Paris Campbell is something that I've seen a lot of trends on. But yeah, Alec Pierce, man, when he starts to get his targets, he catches them. So I mean,
He had 8 last week, and then 2 weeks before that, he had 8 again. So
he
when Matt
converts them.
Ryan's back there, he kind of looks his way too. And this is a defense that they're gonna have to do that. They're gonna have to take chances because Colts defense. It might be a tougher game than you might think. Minnesota
It,
always finds their way in some close games too.
yeah, we're gonna. It's gonna be a 6 point game one way or another. Like, it's gonna be within 6. But I like to sit here and say, oh, we just played the top offenses, and these offenses are killing it. We've had injury. No, I mean, we even got Cam Dantzler back last week, and Jared Goff just shredded us. I mean, we played the Patriots the week before that, and I mean, the Patriots aren't that great of an offense. I mean, they've come on a little bit, I guess, but I mean, they shredded us. And the Cowboys, I don't even want to talk about that game, but they embarrassed us. So um, there's something going on in Minnesota, and honestly, it's always been a bendo break type thing. So with the Colts, man, they're going to have to move the ball. They're going to need to match our scoring, because Minnesota's going to score too. I mean, Jefferson's going to, he's going to get his 14 targets that he's getting every game, and Thielen's been looking better lately. So the Colts will have to score. So Paris Campbell and or Alec Pierce. I think Alec Pierce gets more targets. I think he's probably the safer out of that duo. I've been seeing a lot of Paris Campbell talk, but I like Alec Pierce more too, man. He's a better receiver in my book. I mean, he's bigger, and he converts his targets. So
He's
when
the down like air yards. If you're looking for air yards, and like his completions are going to get you points because he's their downfield guy. They use Paris Campbell in the slot, and they even like to use Pittman doing a lot of the dirty work inside the possession stuff. But the shot plays every time, dude, he gets a lot of them, and he's gonna get 5 shots at least. Not to mention a few underneath stuff. I can see 8 targets again for him this week.
So, and Cam Dantzler's coming off an injury. He's coming off an ankle injury, so he's still not 100% mobile. Chandon Sullivan is in the slot for us, and he's actually not a bad slot corner. So that's why I don't love Paris Campbell. And quietly, Patrick Pearson, through all this mess, is having a pretty damn good season. So we are going to have Harrison Smith back this week, so that can help. But we've missed him for sure. But I think that you're going to see a lot of Alec Pierce against Cam Dantzler, and Dantzler's more of a physical, likes to play the run kind of corner. He's not the greatest cover corner. So again, I think Alec Pierce, I like that, man. Especially in the matchup, you need somebody to win this week.
Right.
Great person to just plug and play.
And dude, like, yeah, and you got to find matchups. Another receiver, real quick, Richie James. He's coming off a 9-target game, a 19-point game, and that's against the Eagles. He plays in the slot. Wandale Robinson, when he went down, Richie James kind of stepped up into that role. 9 targets, 7 catches, 19 fantasy points, and that was against the Eagles. He wasn't seeing Slay or Bradbury; those guys line up out wide, so he kind of got away from them. And that's the one spot that you can kind of be successful with against the Eagles is if you got a slot guy. But outside it's a tough go. But yeah, no, Richie James, he's got the Washington Commanders this week, a decent matchup. They're ranked number 15 against wide receiver. So, but he's a guy, if he's going to get targets, these are guys that if you happen to have a Deebo Samuel go down or who else just got hurt? We just mentioned to a receiver.
T. Higgins.
So T. Higgins, right. So if you had one of these guys that are out,
Boyd.
then Richie James, here's another one. Dude, I even mentioned to my buddy Julio Jones, not even being a homer for whatever reason, but he's been getting some run, and you don't want to get a guy that's going to get you 2 points or 0 points. And I think 3 out of his last 4 games, he's had like around 9 points or higher. So at least the floor is kind of there. He's been getting at least 6 targets a game. Bad thing is Tom Brady can only throw 10 yards now, so the air yards aren't there. So yeah, that kind of sucks. But yeah, so yeah, my man might want to just stay away from all fucking Bucks right now. I don't want to get into that.
Just Godwin.
I won't get into that.
Godwin eats no matter what. I've learned that that guy is a double-digit machine no matter what's going on over there in Tampa. That guy eats. So if you have Chris Godwin, like he's
but Tom almost got him killed again by fucking throwing him into coverage. That's what he did last year when he got his ACL blown out because he fucking threw him right into a fucking throw. Like, don't hurt my guy now. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
but anyways,
and you can't throw.
I'm frustrated with that fucking old guy, man. I'm about ready to fucking move on. But anyways, that's real. You got any other wide receivers?
I have one more really deep sleeper. So last year, I don't want to pat myself on the back, but there was like a lot of deep sleepers going into the fantasy playoffs that I picked up and it worked out. I don't know if Rashad Penny was a huge deep sleeper, but I mean, he ran me into a fantasy championship. Right now, and this is going to sound really crazy, but Nick Westbrook-Akine, and he is, I know that they're getting a little healthier. Robert Woods had an okay game, I guess, last week, but Westbrook-Akine, they're playing the Chargers, man. And it doesn't sound like they're going to have Derwin James. They still really don't have a pass rush. The Chargers were getting beat down the field. That's where they were able to actually expose them in this last game. Tyreek actually probably had 3 long touchdowns if he could spot the ball in the lights. And if he was healthy.
He was gone on that one. Yeah,
but then he had the long, deep one. I mean, and then they had another one where he had him, but he was dealing with ankle injuries. Westbrook-Akine is that guy for the Titans, and
he's had some big games, dude. He's had some really big games. So if you hit on this one, and you're right, dude, could be a fucking league winner, man. Don't strike out though.
Do not sit somebody a little safer to play Nick Westbrook-Akine. Let me tell you that right now. Don't say, "Hey, Mike, you told me to play him." I'm telling you, if you have Deebo Samuel and T. Higgins or Tyler Boyd and you're needing a flex guy, somebody that you can go and hopefully just boom. It's a boom or bust. Like it's not you're either gonna get 20 or you're gonna get 0. Like last year I played Jarrett Patterson as a boomer bust in week 17 and he boomed. It's one of those things. So don't hit up my bat line and say, hey Mike, like you told me to play Nick Whisper. No, I did not tell you to do that. I'm telling you, if you need a receiver, this is a guy that with the matchup and the feeling, a little bit of feeling, and there's that guy like DFS would be a perfect DFS play, so Nick Westbrook-Akine, especially with all the injuries, and Robert Woods just.
I like it, dude. I like it. Like a guy in our league picked up Josh Reynolds, and I'm like, dude, Josh Reynolds. He right now they got DJ Chark, Jameson Williams coming back, and Amon-Ra is the target hog all day over there. So like, to me, I'm like, dude, and they got the Swift and Williams combination in the backfield. There's just too many mouths to feed. I wouldn't feel good about him. I'd actually feel better about Westbrook-Akine or however the hell you say his name, just because with Burks out, Bobby Trees for whatever reason isn't the same guy as he used to be. So yeah, dude, that could be a big one. I like it. I definitely like it.
Yeah, I actually just dropped Jameson Williams because of that mouths to feed. I picked him up.
Yeah.
I picked him up last week, not as a joke, but I know everybody's gonna see his projection at 2 and be like, "Oh man, Mike's he's laying down." And I even sent you the text that he's gonna score this week. And I was like, "Hey man, I deserve an apology after this one, man. Come on."
Oh, that was hilarious.
Give me a break.
So funny, dude. That was a good one.
He only had 2 targets, 1 catch for 41 yards, a touchdown. But
yeah,
there's a lot of mouths to feed there. Amon-Ra, especially with his schedule coming up. I think they have the Jets this week on the road. He's gonna see.
Yeah, and Reynolds play. Yeah, they play. They got the corners out there too with the Jets. Those two out wide to hold it down. So and Reynolds plays out there. So it's a tough matchup. They don't get the targets, so it's just not a good play. I like those other guys better.
This is Amon-Ra. This is an Amon-Ra game because he plays a lot in the slot, and Sauce is not going to follow him around. So
every game is. If you got Amon-Ra, you're probably in the playoffs.
Yeah, and Chicago. They have Chicago next week, and then an easy matchup week 17 also. So they have the matchups coming up, but that's not. I mean, last week against Minnesota, they were going deep, and that's not really his thing. But normal Lions guy, normal Lions offense, but. Anyway, Westbrook-Akine, if you absolutely need some wide receiver help, I have a feeling he might be a 20-point guy this week.
It could happen, dude. I just had in my mind another one we had to go over is Dameon Pierce. He got hurt. Dude, NFL pumped up. You see Rex Burkhead's projection, dude? It's at like 17 points for Rex Burkhead. I could easily see, what's his name? Dare Ogunbowale, a former Buck. I could see him.
Benjamin, almost dude, is in that backfield.
Yeah, being the leader. They got too, who I don't know, like because he didn't get any run. He hasn't gotten any run, so I don't know if he just doesn't understand the offense yet or what's going on with that. Because I would think would be the best one out of the bunch. But I mean, either way, I don't think Rex Burkhead justifies a 17-point projection in NFL. No. And Yahoo, he's projected like 6.
Yeah,
I'm like, and that's a hell of a lot more accurate if you ask me. And all of a sudden, he's projected 17. So I mean. That's a situation where if you have Pierce, there are some guys that you might want to be able to pick up on the waiver, and then also, do you jump on Burkhead or do you overreact on Burkhead and plug and play him into your starting lineup? And I say overreact because to me, it's
a joke, dude. I don't know. I think don't tell me. I was like, oh man, he froze. That projection is a joke. Rex Burkhead. Even if he was the only back in the backfield, he's not going to get 17 points. Give me a break, So they have so many mouths to feed. I saw that Chris went and picked him up, buddy. Like, I hope you don't play him. Like, that's a really risky move.
I will see if he watches the show. It's playoff time. I think we're meddling. We're just meddling over here.
Yeah, I don't want to get involved because there's a very good chance I play the winner of that game. So I don't know. But. I saw that and I'm sitting there because I'm sitting on that one waiver and I'm like sitting there. Should I use it this week? I'm still waiting because I don't necessarily need to use it. I'm kind of using it as insurance for if I have a guy go down. But I saw that he was like in the quarterback projections. I'm sitting there thinking, really, this guy? not to knock Rex Burkhead, but we've talked about him on the show before. Like, we know what this guy is. He's not a 3-down back. Like, he could be used as a 3rd-down back, maybe get a couple carries. But they're going to go with a younger guy, man. But the loss of Dameon Pierce, man, that's huge. I know Trevor was kind of rolling it with some momentum going into the playoffs, but losing your number 2 back, I mean, that hurts. There's a couple ways that he can kind of maneuver around this. Ramondre Stevenson's another guy that went down with an ankle injury. We're kind of trying to figure out what's going on with him. Bill
No
likes
practice today, and it's Wednesday, and no
Yeah.
practice. He wasn't spotted at practice today. So I mean, Trevor picked up that backup because those 2 running backs looked pretty good. Was it Monday night?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, Bill likes to go with like a kind of a 2 to 3 headed monster when his running backs go down. I'm not sure what's going on with Damian Harris either. So I mean, there's a little bit of excitement there, picking up one of those kids because they looked explosive. So
Yeah.
I like that pickup to do, again, another boomer bust. I mean, Jarrett Patterson, I gotta go back to Jarrett Patterson. Like, he was an emergency play. So Trevor could
Yeah,
definitely do that.
Pierre Strong. That's what he picked up. He had 17 last week against Arizona. He's going
And
against an
he
even
looked the
worse
best.
defense on paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had was it 5 carries, 70 yards, and a touchdown, 2 targets, 2 catches, 20 yards. Like I said, he has 17 fantasy points. So man, you brought up Jarrett Patterson, man. Like, these are guys that can end up winning you a goddamn league,
Yeah.
man. Look at the matchups. Look at the situation. Like if they're gonna get all the volume equals points. Period. You look at targets. You look at opportunities. It's PPR, and if they're gonna get it all, then go for it. Especially if you got some kid like this kid like this, man. If Damian Harris and Ramondre are out, then he should feel pretty good about starting Pierre Strong this week. And we just found out who the kid was on Monday night.
On Monday night. Yeah. So again, in fantasy playoffs, you play 1 week at a time, and
1 week season, baby.
it throw projections out the windows, throw everything. You got to go with your gut because you need a little bit of luck and you need a little bit of intuition here. And Pierre Strong could be one of those guys that goes off for 20 points. At the same
Right.
time, if he goes off for 5, like, it's Pierre Strong. Like, who the hell is Pierre Strong? So that's where you can kind of say, hey, I justified it.
But you only play him like you played Jarrett Patterson. The only reason you played him because you knew he was the only guy set to get all of the volume. And for Pierre Strong, like if you only play him if Harris and Ramondre are both out.
Are
If any
both
of them
out.
play, you don't play this guy. You're
Yeah.
not going to play him because he might still do well. He might pop another one, but the opportunity isn't going to be there. So like the floor won't be as high. And and that's the big thing. What can kill you is the guy scoring 0 to 5 points.
Yeah.
A guy getting 5 to 15, you can potentially get by with that. So you want to get a guy with the volume, like I said. Running backs, though, man, just to wrap that up real quick, dude, there ain't nothing on the waiver wire. So we mentioned the guys that you can really get. I know David Johnson all of a sudden is a thing for the Saints, but I mean Kamara is going to be there. He's fine. I just look to see if is Kamara hurt? Why is David Johnson a trending guy on waivers?
It's because
But
Mark
I
Ingram's
just
hurt.
don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Mark
they
Ingram.
got Kamara though. Yeah, Mark Ingram wasn't much, and David Johnson ain't much. So, just moving on from that, we got some guys though that are coming back from IR. Right, we got Dallas Goddard, Darren Waller,
Aaron
Hunter
Waller.
Renfro. Some guys coming back that are activated on IR. Are they going to play this week? Are they not going to play this week? Some guy, and that's a terrible position unless you have Travis Kelce or Mark Andrews. You kind of been just Freiermuth actually is a pretty good one. There's a few more that you feel good about. But man, like tight end, who's gonna be the Evan Ingram this week to pop off for like 40 out of nowhere?
Yeah.
So it's tough. Do you play these guys? How good do you feel their first game back?
So if I'm in Trevor's shoes, so this is exactly what I'm thinking. Like, this would be my process because we bring Trevor up because he has a Greg Dulcich, or Dallas Goddard. That's his decision to make. Dallas Goddard seems like he might be available this week. On the other side of it, his other option is Greg Dulcich, which doesn't look like Russ is going to play, dude. Like, that was a really bad concussion. And I wouldn't be shocked if I know he's a baller and he wants to play. But that was a really bad one, dude. Almost Tua-esque. Like, he got knocked out in that hit. So does Greg Dulcich pop off with Brett Ripien? Like, I don't think he does. I would be throwing Dallas Goddard if he plays. if he's good to go. I mean, he's on a 4 week stint of on IR, but if he's good to go, that Philly offense is so deadly. You want to
Look at
play any
Mike
part of it.
Williams, dude. Like Mike just had his first game back, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, "Hello, welcome back." Sometimes these QBs are like, "Welcome back, man." And Goddard and Jalen have always had a combination since
Mhm.
day one. Since Jalen stepped on the field, that's been kind of like a security blanket for him. That's been a guy for him. So that's a good point, man. You ah, it's tough because Arizona, dude, literally Arizona is giving up
It's
the worst.
terrible.
That's the
Yeah.
best matchup you could ever ask for a tight end. So Dolchich, and he's been getting volume. I think he had another like 8 targets again last week, whatever it was, dude.
Mhm.
He's been getting some volume lately. So it's you just got to monitor the situation. If Goddard is if he gets a full in by Thursday or Friday, then obviously you feel really good about it.
I think if he's active, man, I think you have to go with him. I mean, you draft him. You didn't draft Greg Dulcich. You drafted him probably in the top 6 tight ends to roll with, and he's a top 5 tight end when he plays. So I've been a big fan of Dallas Goedert for the last 2 years, even before the Zach Ertz trade last year. I've been a big advocate for him. So I think he's a great tight end. He's not on Kelsey or Andrew's level, but he can get you 15 to 20 very easily based on just like 7 to 8 targets. So, and he's also a red zone monster too. So
And
if
he's a
he,
stack. He's got
yeah,
Jalen Hurts too, so
yeah,
a
you gotta,
little added sweetness there.
yeah. If he clears his questionable tag, or if he doesn't have, if he plays, if he's clearly going to play, means he's ready. He's been doing work for like the last 2 or 3 weeks, so he should be ready to rock, right? So that's
And
where I
he's a
would go.
guy, and to me, like I'm with you a little bit there on that. He's a guy, but he's an upper echelon guy, so like you
Yeah,
feel good about it. Darren Waller, Hunter Renfro, they were struggling before they went out. So for me, these are guys that I can't start them this week, right?
yeah.
Like there's no way.
So Darren Waller, I was just about to get into. Darren Waller is on the other side of the spectrum to me. So if Darren Waller is your tight end coming back, I saw that he's got picked up on IR or off of waivers because he was dropped on waivers. That's kind of where he belongs. Honestly, after the start of his season, I don't really know if I would.
Maybe worth a stash. I'm gonna say don't start him. If he was available, I actually picked him up in my other league. So like if it just as a stash, just in case, like honestly as a strictly defensive tactic, so somebody else can't use him against me because I actually have Travis Kelsey, so there's no way he's gonna get in
Yeah,
the lineup anyway. But just the potential, man. Like what if he all of a sudden gets 8 to 10 targets? And he
yeah,
does something with it because I mean he's a freak, So if he can get going, then like he might be worth a stash, but he hasn't had a good game all year at all. So it's
yeah.
like to me, you can't really start him.
And I mean, yeah, he should be ready to go, but this is a different situation. Like he hasn't been good all year. He's been kind of injured all year. He's been injured the last 2.5 years, really. Um, his chance of re-aggravation. This risk is different than Dallas Goedert. Let's put it that way. Dallas Goedert,
Right.
from what it looked like in that Washington game, like yes, he got hurt. It was more of a preventative IR stint than it was like needed. Darren Waller's been out for a while. He hasn't really been involved in that offense. Yes, I understand the potential of, you go back to having 30-point games against the Chargers. Like I get that part. So maybe stashing him for that defensive reason, like to prevent that from happening. But I don't know if I could just throw him into a lineup, man, unless if you're like bare bones, like don't have any other option at tight end.
Nah, yeah, you can't do it.
You just
Leave the
can't.
Raiders alone. Him and Renfro, leave him alone, man. Definitely leave him alone.
You
You got
you play a
my bad. Go ahead.
Dulcich matchup over a Darren Waller, but you play a
Yeah.
Goddard over Dulcich. Like that's the tier. That's the hierarchy that we're talking in week 15.
Exactly, 100%. I mean, that's it. I mean, as far as the injuries that we kind of wrapped up
Oh,
and some waivers, I know
we
we
have a
got
few
a
more.
few more,
We
right?
have a
You
few
got
more.
some lineup decisions with your boy Kenny Walker, right? He's back.
We got Kyler Murray. We got quarterback. So we got Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson. So you lost Kyler Murray for good. He's done. And you lost. I mean, maybe you lost Jimmy Garoppolo a couple weeks ago. You lost Lamar Jackson, who's not going to play this week. Where do you go? Maybe some of you who lost Lamar went to Tyler Huntley. You lost Tyler Huntley. Like, where do you go?
He was a fool today, by the way. Tyler Huntley was a fool. He sounds like he's
So it
gonna. If
sounds
you
like he's
did pick
play.
up him, yeah, he'll
Um,
be fine.
So if you were a Tyler Huntley, like you picked him up as stash, like I'd feel pretty comfortable going with him. He's not Lamar, but he can run Lamar's offense. So and Lamar's gonna be back next week. So hopefully you can get a win with 17 to 20 points from Tyler Huntley. Maybe he goes off like he did against the Packers last year. There is a young man who looked pretty damn good on Sunday, and his name is Brock Purdy. So if you he was just making throws, dude, and he's a product of that offense. I know, dude. I'm not trying to throw shade. He was making throws.
No, he did.
He's making
He
throws.
did.
And he's a product of that offense. So I made a comment when Jimmy Garoppolo went down. I actually made a comment when Trey Lance went down that Jimmy's going to be a product of that offense. And then I made a comment when Jimmy went down that Brock Purdy could be a product of that offense. Do I think
I could?
Do
Shit, Trent Williams, CMC, George Kittle.
Do I
Nah,
think
he
that
made
he's
some.
gonna?
He made some good plays, dude. Like he was dead to rights a couple times back there, and he made a play, made a
Yeah,
throw. Like yeah, he looks good.
he's got a little bit of moxie, but I think that he's not going to go out and throw 5 touchdowns. Like he's not going to be a Patrick Mahomes. He's not going to be like fucking Jared Goff right now, who's on fire. He may not be that, but again, you're not going to find those guys on waivers. So a Brock Purdy could be on waivers. Maybe
Yeah,
Mike White might be on waivers, and Mike
there
White
you
has a little bit
go.
of moxie.
That's where I'm going. That's exactly where I would go. Is Mike White, dude? Like he's got Elijah Moore, who all of a sudden is a thing
Yeah,
again, and Garrett Wilson. They got a couple tight ends, dude. They got the running backs. Like they're not bad. They're not a bad
yeah,
team. And the thing about the Jets is they got a good defense, so he gets extra opportunity. Detroit. We talked about the chasing
yeah,
Detroit all season long, man. They give up about almost 24 points per game to quarterback, which is the most in the NFL. Um, Mike White averages 17.
yeah.
So if he averaged 17, they give up 24. What is that? About a 21 point average or projection, whatever. To me anyway, like I think he's gonna have a good week. They don't have the same running game that they used to have. They like to throw, and Mike White, dude, he's got that locker room. He's got that team. He's got like he had 20 something a couple weeks ago, 17 I think it was last week. Even dealing with some crap. I was
Yeah.
getting beat up. So, but it sounds like he's gonna play. They
Mhm.
just said that Zach Wilson is now the backup, but just saying he's the backup, that lets you know they feel good that Mike White is gonna start. And like I said, the matchup is too good. If you got a Jared Goff, you just brought him up, and he's in the same game, but he's playing against the Jets. That secondary against Sauce and against that good defense they got in New York. So Jared Goff or Mike White, that's a tough one. Which direction would I lean there? And honestly, for me, I think I'm leaning Mike White's direction.
Yeah, he's definitely a guy that, again, it's week to week, and this is going to be. I mean, Kirk Cousins just went off for 435 and a couple touchdowns. I know your brother was talking shit that he wasn't having a good fancy day. I'm like, man, shut up. He's having a great fancy day.
Right.
Just the Vikings looked terrible on defense. So, um, uh, Mike White is definitely a guy that I would feel confident in this week. And hearing what Garrett Wilson said about him, just how he would go to war for that guy. That gives you confidence in the offense. And just he's averaging, other than last week when he got banged up, he's averaging 42 throws a game. So they're going to throw the ball. And they're going to throw the ball down the field. Elijah Moore's waking up. Bam Knight is a guy who likes to catch the ball out of the backfield. They're going to throw the ball, especially against Detroit, who that front seven is actually not that bad. So they're going to be the secondary's got players, but they're going to look to throw the ball. Especially in a must-win game, and they're going to have to keep up with Detroit. I don't think it's going to be a really low-scoring game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, and those are the games that you look for. So, Mike White, Brock Purdy are 2 guys that you can grab off waivers, and again, week to week, and you can get a W with those guys and see where you go.
That's right, man. It's 1 week seasons, like I keep saying, dude. It's playoff time, so these are guys that have good matchups and can get you by. So, like I said, man, always go
I
ahead.
do got I got one more nugget, dude, because you talked about Kenny Does, man. Kenneth Walker this
Yeah,
week. If you absolutely have to,
tough
you
matchup.
start
Welcome
him.
back.
If you have any other option, I do not think he's going to get a big workload. I think that he is going to probably see 14 or less carries. I don't think he's going to be a 20 target. I think they're going to be trailing in this game. They bring in Travis Homer when they are passing. You're lucky if he gets in the end zone with a touchdown. So Kenneth Walker, if you have any other option, I would probably sit him. I'd sit him. Travis Etienne, I'm in the exact same boat with Travis Etienne. I got a question about Latavius Murray or Travis Etienne. I am on the Latavius Murray train this week. They are playing the Cardinals, and Latavius Murray, I mean, I don't look at projections, but he's projected about 15 points, and that seems about right. Travis Etienne has seen his decline in usage the last couple weeks, and he hasn't had a big week for the last 4 weeks. He's been under 10 fantasy points 4 weeks in a row, and I know one game he went out with injury. So be careful with Travis Etienne. Now they play Houston week 17, so don't drop him or nothing like that, but hold on to him for a couple more weeks. His 17 is where he's going to boom. But right now, I think they have really another tough matchup this week. He's another sit. I mean, these guys are both on my roster. I have a bye. I don't have to worry about it, but they're both on my roster. Mixon. I'm just going down my running backs. Mixon's another guy that if you don't have Samaje Perine by now, you're fucking up, dude. It just is what it is. I mean, they split. I mean, I know Perine got in the end zone last week for 9 points, but he got the goal line carry. So be careful with these guys. And if you have options down the line, like if you've been sitting there like stashing Tony Pollard and waiting, Tony Pollard is a thing. I mean, he's going to be the RB1 there. There's AJ Dillon is another guy that in December, I'd be playing AJ Dillon. I've been saying that all year long. There's a couple of guys that I just feel really, really confident in at this point of the year over a guy like Travis Etienne and even Kenny Walker this week. Next week is Kenny Walker's game. This week, I'd sit him. Sorry, I had to get that out, man.
No. I mean, he's a guy dealing with injury. He's a guy that he got people to the playoffs, so he's a name that's going around right now. He needs to get covered. So I'm glad you did. He's got a tough matchup though, man. Yeah. That's the only thing. And Geno Smith ain't Tom Brady. Mike was wide open how many times, and this ball's over his head. Geno's going to actually be able to put it on DK. I think that this game might be it's a division game. So I think this game might be a little closer than people think. But yeah, I mean that wraps it up for this week. You got anything else?
Tyreek, we didn't really mention Tyreek. Tyreek, I think he's gonna be good. I think he's good to go.
He's chasing your boy. He's him and Justin Jefferson are in a offensive player of the year battle. I don't think he wants to miss a game because if he does, you're basically giving that award up right now, because it's really a 2-man race.
Yeah, because he was getting ice on that ankle. You don't ice an ankle like that. If I think it was more of a shin issue or something. I think he maybe got kicked or something. I wouldn't be worried about Tyreek. I've been seeing some stuff like, oh, should we be worried about him with that shin? He also burned some dude with that bad shin or bad ankle. So he's going to play this week. He's going to be Tyreek. So don't worry about Tyreek. I had a question about that. Is he going to play? He's going to play.
Yeah, he's going to play, and he's going to be Tyreek. You get him in your lineup.
So, but yeah, all right. Now I'm officially done, man. Anyway, guys, again, we appreciate you guys' following. Keep listening out. Keep subscribing. Hit the like button for us. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram at Agree to Disagree SP. Again, until next time on Friday, look out for another show. We're going to be doing our big hits and misses on Friday. So until next time, A2D.